What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta Edition. This is Season 4, Episode 5. The episode is titled The Battle of the OGs. Let's go ahead and talk about this episode. As you know, we started off exactly where we left off with Pimpin' and Kai getting into it. So we already know that Pimpin' ran over there to where Kai and Diamond were talking, and now it's become like this whole argument, I guess you could say. It's not even really an argument. It's just Kai saying, "You stepped on my shoes," and Pimpin' talking about some, "Dude, I'll flip you over," and all this stuff. And I'm like, stop underestimating Kai for his size. Like, I know that he's shorter than Pimpin', but I'm pretty sure he's a lot faster, just because there's no way you're going to tell me that Pimpin' ain't slow. And I just feel like that escalated so quickly for no reason. We see that Lily, she steps in and gets in the middle of it, just because she has to protect her son. First of all, he doesn't know anyone at this party. And also because he has just got out of jail, we don't have time for him to go back to jail. So they break everything up. We see Brat. She goes over there, see what's going on. Once she realizes that it's some drama and some mess, her and Jessica, they dip out. Straight up, they just dip out. After that, Pimpin' is like, I'm just going to let it go and cool off because he had been drinking. Come to find out, he doesn't even really drink like that. So I don't even know why he decided to drink that day. So that definitely intensified the situation. And then we also hear him say in his confessional that he's like, "I'm going to leave it alone out of respect for his mom because my mom used to play her music all the time." And I'm like, not trying to be rude, but your mom played Lily in SWV. How old are you? Because I feel like he around the same age as Lily. Like, am I the only one who thinks that Pimpin' looks super old? So after that, we see a clip of Pimpin' talking to Diamond, and she's like, "Wow, like, what was that?" She was basically playing it up for Pimpin' to see like she was just so sweet and innocent when we clearly saw her flirting with Kai. Or am I crazy? Because when she got back over there with Pimpin' and she was like, I don't know what that was. Like, he asked what inspired the donuts and, it was a 32 flavor thing. But, like, the way she said is definitely not in my tone. She was definitely like, "Oh, I don't know what that was. I mean, he asked me what inspired it. And I was just like, it was the 32 flavors." And I'm just like, he is just eating this up. Okay, I can see why Pimpin' and Diamond go back and forth all the time. So we next see that Lily, she introduces her son to Deb. And, they have a great introduction. She says that she's working on a project. She would love for him to, be added on. What is this project? Well, here we go. Basically, Deb wants to create an EP where all of the cast members are working together and they're talking about like current issues. I don't think that that's exactly bad, just because it's them actually putting music out. Because let's be honest, when people get on these reality shows, they say that they're going to drop a single or put out an album, and we never hear this music. One thing that is to be noted, though, is that, Deb is like, it's going to be all of you guys and Brat. I think it'll be such a great idea. And Bow Wow, he gets in his confessional. He's like, with my name and with Brat's name attached to it, it's just going to make the project go so much, like basically so much further. And I'm like, Bow Wow, stop acting like you are like that guy. You are no longer little Bow Wow when people really used to listen to you. So Bow Wow basically is saying that he's going along with what Deb is saying while he's sitting in front of her face, but he has no plans to do this album. One more thing about this scene If Deb don't pull that mask up above her nose, I promise I'm going to scream, because for some reason she just out here protecting her chin at all times, but she is not protecting her nose. So we next get a scene with Remarkable, Buku, and Shania. They meet up at some place to do some type of arts and crafts project. And Shania, she's the only one who's wearing a mask, so I guess she's taking COVID seriously. They just talk about, the party, and then they go into how Ayana has COVID yet again, even though we just had this same conversation at the party. So Shania is in her confessional, and she's basically talking about how, her and Ayana, yeah, they were really close, but she's the one who said, when it comes to her and Amy, Ayana and Amy being together, that people would think that Amy, I'm going to say, is the dude in the relationship. I'm definitely not going to say the word that she just said. And she never apologized for what she said. Like, I do know that sometimes within the LGBTQ community, that if you are in the community, you can say certain words towards each other, and some people do not have a problem with it. Now, that is for Ayana and Amy to, make that decision. As far as Shania, she is a straight woman. The word that she said, she should have never said, or at least been like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was a slur, and I apologize for that, because no one has ever told me. Like, she has taken no accountability for what she has said to Ayana. And not only that, but the fact that she just doesn't feel like she needs to apologize, or at least be like, girl, go talk to Brat. Brat is your auntie. Like, I'm pretty sure she can give you some sound advice on how you were wrong in this situation. So the ladies start talking about the project that, Deb is putting together. And Buku, she said that she recently released a single that was doing well. So now she's ready to be a part of the project. We also have Remarkable saying that, she's going to go in there and lay down a verse. And, it may not be peaches and cream with everybody there, but she's ready to do her part, because, this could be life-changing for her career and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, doing a little song with Deb, okay, if you think so. But we see the Shania, she clearly has reservations about this, just because she's like, knowing how Bow Wow and Brat are, especially Bow Wow, he's not going to want to be on an album, like a little compilation EP with a bunch of artists who are up and coming. And she's definitely right. That's Bow Wow's exact feelings. He does not want to be on an album with the Remarkable. And like Shania said, she's trying to be an up-and-coming artist. I'm like, you kind of shaded your girl, but I guess, girl. We get a short scene with Ayana and her dad. He's able to come over now, and, it was just good to see that she's doing better. So now we get to a couple members of the cast getting together to meet with Miss Deb and her chin. That's the only thing that's being protected. To talk about this EP, basically. They meet up in a studio. Pimpin was definitely surprised to see Kai was there, but now Kai, he realizes that Pimpin and Diamond, they are a couple, so he's probably going to leave that alone. Deb is just explaining that she really wants to have this EP done, and Johnny, she ends up showing up. I can't lie, Johnny's body is like super thick, but it's also giving me like auntie vibes. Like, you have like that thick auntie who's like in like her 40s already. Like, Yeah, her body, I'm sorry, it don't look good to me. I'm just gonna be honest. Considering how old she is, like, that outfit was not doing anything for her. So one thing that I wanted to point out was that, Pimpin was talking about how, he's produced like a lot of stuff, and Deb is like, well, I want to bring in some new people to mix some things up. And I'm like, okay, so you basically just kind of slighted him because I think he was assuming that he was going to be the producer for the entire project. And then once he mentioned, like, oh, well, what platforms will this be on? Deb is like, oh, you don't even have to worry about that. So basically, it's the assumption that Deb is going to handle the business side of everything. And I'm just like, Diamond was worried about getting her split sheet signed by Pimpin. They might need to worry about getting things done by Deb. I mean, we even see Diamond in her confessional talk about how can Deb think that a person of her caliber, I don't know what caliber Diamond thinks that she's on, but, she's basically saying that how could Deb think that she doesn't want to be a part of the business decisions when it comes to this EP, considering, she's not a new artist, she knows the game. We then get a scene of Bow Wow and his crew of friends. They go axe throwing, and Ayana shows up. This is her first time being out, and they end up talking about BT's birthday and how he basically wants to get this whole gang together to go paintballing, and Ayana just lets them know that she's not cool or remarkable because of them getting into it on Twitter. That was pretty much all that happened in that scene. It was good to see that Ayana was out of the house. Next we get a quick clip of Kai actually in the studio, and he's rapping, and I must say, he does not sound bad at all. So maybe music is his thing. He has a conversation with his mom, and his mom is like, so who are you excited to work with? And the first person he said was Johnny Blaze. And we all know it's because he's interested in her body and not so much her talent. And then he also mentions Bow Wow. So we then go to another scene where we have Diamond. She is meeting up with Brad. So, in this conversation, yes, they talk about the whole situation that went down at the party, but that's not the focus here. The focus here is when Diamond is letting Brad know that Deb has this bright idea for, the whole gang of growing up hip hop to do a song together. And then it has now turned into an EP. So, Brad is just like, well, who's going to be working on this? And Diamond lets her know that they had a meeting at the studio and Remarkable was there. Kai, Lily's son, was there. And she's like, well, what does Kai do? And she's like, Diamond was like, he's a rapper. And Brad is like, oh, okay, so everybody's a rapper. I mean, it's not like he sounded bad or anything. I just kind of wish that she would have gave the kid a chance. You know what I mean? I think, who else was there? Pimpin was there. And Diamond, she brings up how her and Remarkable are like, well, what's the creative vision that you want for this? And she also mentions how Pimpin is like, what are we going to do about distribution? And the fact that Deb is like, don't worry about that. Just focus on being an artist. Even Brad is like, that's not right. At this point, all of us have been in the game for a while now. We know that there's something funny going on when someone says that, just focus on being an artist. That means that the business side of things may be a little shady. So Diamond basically goes on and on about how, the last person who tried to tell her to be an artist, it didn't work out well. And then Brad ends up asking her, well, who's all involved in this project since, now Deb wants it to be an EP. So Diamond starts naming off people. And she's like, Bow Wow, you. And Brad start turning around like, who is you? Because you cannot be Brad. Oh my gosh, because at the end of the day, Deb never even talked to Brad about doing this song, EP, or anything like that. And I'm like, Deb, what are you thinking? Like, you may want to actually talk to the artist that you want to be involved in this project. Also, Diamond brings up Johnny Blaze, and as we know, Brett is not a fan of that girl. So Diamond's like, why? But she has a beautiful voice. And Brett is like, no, I've seen her act up. She's acted up towards Bow Wow. She's acted up towards, I think she like did something in JD's studio where she probably tore something up. She said that she was disrespectful to JD's mom. And I'm like, JD's mom? That lady gotta be old. Like, no offense, but like, isn't JD like in his 50s? So his mom has to be like in her 70s or something. Like, come on. Johnny Blaze, yeah, she's been pretty disrespectful to a lot of people. So those bridges are burned at this point. Brett also happens to mention how, she doesn't just want to help any old person, because at the end of the day, she is a legend. So she wants to pick and choose what type of artist she helps. And I get it. A couple of these people who are on this cast, they are not, famous. Nobody has ever heard of them. Nobody has ever heard of their songs. So I get it. I just kind of wish that, she would give some of these kids a chance just because someone gave her a chance. And basically, she would only do a song with, I think she said Ree, which is remarkable, Princess, and, I'm so sorry, not Princess. I'm thinking of the other girl from Crime Mob. I mean Diamond. And Bow Wow. That's pretty much it. She's not interested in any of the rest of the cast. So we get to this next scene, and it is Brat going to the studio, not to record her own music or anything, but because Diamond told her that Deb is having a meeting, and again, Brat knew nothing about this. She gets in there, Remarkable's there, and, she's basically trying to ask Remarkable what's going on, who's she trying to get on this project. And, Remarkable was like, I think it's a good thing for, the new people to get a chance. And the older generation, I guess you could say, they can still come in and spit their bars. So even Bow Wow ends up showing up, and I just can't take his goofy self seriously. But Deb finally shows up, and she's like, basically, Brat wasn't supposed to be there. Now, I feel like what maybe she was trying to do was kind of see where all the youngins are musically, so that way she could kind of present it in a way to Brat and maybe Bow Wow to get them to want to come on board, to be like, okay, well, Buku, she's not that bad of a singer, or Remarkable is not that bad of a rapper, just to kind of warm them up to what these new cast members have to say, or at least what their sound is. So at this point, this is when I realized that Brat and Deb are not saying eye to eye, because, Deb is going on about how, basically putting this into the perspective of We Are the World, Heal the World, basically one of those songs where you have this group of people, they just got together, they're all, artists, and they sung a song together. But Brett is like, but here's the kicker though. All those songs that you're listing, even the one that JD did, they had stars on these songs, so that way people wanted to hear them. And you know what? She does have a very valid point. Because when I think about We Are the World, I think of like, okay, well, they had Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson, and I believe it was a Stevie Wonder. And then you have, I remember they did that one song, what was it? They redid What's Going On after 9/11. And I remember it being like Destiny's Child, Gwen Stefani, Christina Aguilera, like everybody who was like popular at the time was on that track. I remember Nelly being on there. So Brad definitely has a point. Like, no offense to the cast of Growing Up Hip Hop, but none of these, I guess you could say, kids that are growing up, they're not popular enough. Nobody knows them. And all of the other people, like, they're not exactly a star. Like, I would not consider, like, Bow Wow to be, like, somebody that everybody wants to listen to. Again, it's not like he's like a Chris Brown where, you know, even though some people don't really mess with Chris Brown like that, that man comes up with a hit every time he comes up with a song. So you have Bow Wow, you have Diamond, who I feel like, yeah, people, they may like Diamond, but for the most part, they're still rehearsing and saying her verse from, what's that Crime Mob song, Nuck If You Buck? So that counts her out. Who else is there? I said Bow Wow, Diamond, Brat. I mean, when's the last time we really heard a Brat song and we were like, oh yeah, I'm about to bump that? Like, early 2000s? Even when I think of her own son, like Waka and Tammy, like, Tammy dropped a little single, but it didn't go nowhere. And Waka, I have no idea what happened to Waka in his rap career. So it's not like she has any heavy hitters on this, you know, EP that she's trying to put together. But I think in conjunction with the show, it may work just to show, like, you know, our show was able to come up with like a quick compilation and we actually do have some talent here. And the viewers who watch the show, they just might give the album or EP a listen. So, you know, once they start talking about how, you know, the people in here, I know who they are. But Brat's like, who else is going to be working on this project? She basically wants to hear from Deb's mouth. And she's like, Buku and Johnny. And in his confessional, Bow Wow is like, I've never heard Buku sing a note or anything like that. I mean, I haven't either. Just because of who her dad is does not mean that she also has his genes in the talent department. And then we also have, you know, Brat talking about how, what do you want me to do within this whole process, Deb? And she basically is like, you know, I want you to help with the project. You know, basically guide the newcomers on, you know, some type of, kind of like a mentorship. And Brat is like, well, you know, me and Bow Wow, we are already seasoned in this game. There's no need for us to, you know, jump on a project like this. I mean, I get what Brat is saying, but at the same time, considering that they are on a show called Growing Up Hip Hop, I would not hate it to see her in the studio with Lili's son giving him pointers. I would not hate it to see Bow Wow, you know, come to one of Remarkable sessions and, you know, give her some type of pointers on how she can, like, rap better. That's the one thing that I kind of wish that this show did do sometimes. Just because, considering this is supposed to be about growing up hip hop and everybody's supposed to be an artist, we hardly see any artistry. Like, let's be honest. So basically, Brat is like, you know, if the song comes out, it's not going to be whoever, you know, these people are plus the Brat. It's going to be a Brat and Bow Wow type song. And basically, she doesn't want anyone to benefit off of her name. She feels like she would rather work with artists who already have a name and are established rather than working with up-and-coming people. So at this point, Deb is just like, you know, I just thought it'd be a dope project, and, you know, I think that some people, they do need some direction. And then she starts to list them off, and she's like, you know, pointing to Remarkable, is like, you know, I don't really know, you know, how your stuff is working out or how you really sound. And then she talks about how Diamond, like, haven't really heard anything from her in a while. So Diamond gets offended because, as we know, we were all just at her little album release party. Even though, from what I've heard, the album still isn't released, but whatever. Maybe there are some technical issues. So Diamond is offended, and she's like, what do you mean you haven't heard no Diamond? And I'm like, Diamond, girl, let's stop acting like as if you are really putting out tracks like that. Like, you're not Cardi, you're not Megan, you're not Doja, you're not Rico Nasty. I mean, you're not even like Sukiyama. Like, at least these are people who I've heard something from. I have not heard a Diamond song again since Crime Mob. So now at this point, Deb, she's over it. She's like, you know what? This is supposed to be a big thing, but at this point, forget it. Like, we don't even have to do it. So now Brett, she's feeling some type of way. And she's like, walks out. And she's like, well, forget this. I'm not, participating in this. And that was pretty much where the episode ended. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Do you think that they should go ahead and go through with the project? And yeah, let me know what you want to see on Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta edition. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Oh yeah, and hit that thumbs up button. And until next time, guys, bye.